Hey everyone, and welcome to the program. I'll be talking about Off Cycle from Albert Hammond Jr. It was a Record Store Day Black Friday 2019 release, so stick around and we'll dive in. Hey everybody. So if you're like me, you likely were at Record Store Day Black Friday this past year. You're gearing up for Record Store Day 2020, and we've had some time to sit and dive in and listen to what we purchased. So I thought now would be a good time to reflect on what it was that I picked up and see if maybe this is something that you've gotten or you were considering getting, and just talk about the release a little bit. So Off Cycle, I presume it refers to kind of an in-between type of release. This is a Record Store Day exclusive release, meaning that it is meant to only be for Record Store Day, or in this case, Record Store Day Black Friday. No additional releases are planned for it, but you never know. Somebody might have a change of heart down the road. But this came out on blue wax, really nice. Just a vibrant blue color. It had two songs on it, More to Life and Fast Times. This is good. So I'm a big fan of Albert Hammond Jr. If you're not familiar with him, he's the guitarist from The Strokes. This was recorded, I don't know if it was part of, they tied it into his last solo release, which was Francis Trouble, that came out in 2018. But it's not, these songs weren't on here. The listing, when it came out initially, and Record Store Day had it on the website, they made it look like the songs were actually from the album, but they're not. I suspect that they were just, extras that were part of the recording session, and he just decided, hey, I got a few extra songs laying around, let's get a special release out. I believe there's about 1,500 copies of this that were pressed. As I said, I'm a big Strokes fan. I really enjoy Albert Hammond Jr.'s music. His solo work, he's released several albums now and a few EPs. It's interesting because he's had some solo side projects in between Strokes recordings, and Julian Casablancas, the lead singer for the Strokes, he's done side projects as well. His sound, Julian's sound, is different. It's a little bit more punk and a little bit edgier than you would even get from the Strokes, which is, they're definitely that post-punk garage band sound. But I think Julian Casablancas has kind of done his own thing and separated himself. And Albert Hammond Jr.'s work, maybe it's because he's got those definitive guitar riffs that have really helped create the sound of the Strokes, and he just brings it along into his side projects. But to me, it just feels like kind of like a bonus to his work with the Strokes. So I really enjoyed this. I'm not a huge fan of 10-inch releases. For me, they're a bit of a pain in the butt to store because I don't know what to do with them. I don't want to throw them in with the 12-inch because they kind of get pushed back and lost, and you forget that they're there. Obviously with 7-inch singles, you can pop them in their own crates and storage boxes. They just take up odd space, and with only two songs, you start wondering, couldn't have you just done a 7-inch release and it would have been easier to keep track of? I think sometimes they like to press 10 inches just because it's really unique and harkens back to the days of the old 78 on shellac. But regardless, this wasn't going to be one that I was going to pass up. I really enjoy his solo music. I can listen to him all day long and really love his other solo albums. So, if you haven't gotten this, if this is one that you were maybe on the fence about because you like the Strokes, maybe you've heard his solo work but just wasn't sure enough, I certainly would recommend picking this up. As far as getting it is out there. I've still seen it a couple times in bins. It's definitely available if you're looking for it. It's on Discogs at a very reasonable price. I mean, you could probably get it for about $10, and I think record stores are still trying to move some excess copies on this one, even though there weren't that many pressed. But let me know what you think. Did you get this? Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Is it one that you're considering, and maybe after watching this now you'll go out and get it? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to give me a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I'm definitely planning more videos in the future and hoping to keep the conversation going with you. Thanks a lot, everybody.